My name is Alex Ocampo, and I'm one of the plaintiff attorneys.
I'm Kirsten Hicks, one of the plaintiff attorneys.
My name is Gage Spencer, and I'm one of the plaintiff attorneys.
My name is Maddie Alfred. I play Corey Stark, mother of the deceased.
My name is Emma Blake, and I play Cody Hay.
My name is Chloe Reynolds. I play Dr. Mills Barton.
My name is Zoe Walker, and I'm one of the defense attorneys.
My name is Nathan Collins, and I'm one of the defense attorneys.
My name is Kaden Kuniyoshi, and I'm a defense attorney.
My name is Peyton Lewis, and I'm Sydney Wilson. My name is Chris Parker, and I play Jordan Day.
My name is Jason Stanley, and I'm the expert witness for the defense.
My name is Marley Kaiser, and I'm the court bailiff.
My name is Yusuf Kasim, and I'm a juror.
My name is Callie Stokes, and I'm a juror.
My name is Addison Ocampo, and I'm a juror.
My name is Kira Wallace, and I'm a juror.
My name is Talia Matthews, and I'm a juror.
My name is Eve Van Clay, and I am the teacher sponsor of this mock trial team.
And I'm Judge Bill Henry. I'm the coach for this team.
All rise. The court will come to order. Judge Shane Van presiding.
Thank you. Please be seated. Plaintiff ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
All right, I understand that all witnesses have previously been sworn. Plaintiff's opening statement.
May it please the court. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my name is Alex Ocampo, and I, along with Kirsten Hicks and Gage Spencer, represent the plaintiff in this case. My client, Corey Stark, lost her son, Wade Stark, on April 20th, 2019. What the testimony will show is it was because of the careless actions of the employees at the trampoline park at Springs Park. The Starks family went to the park that day to enjoy a good day after Wade had won a soccer tournament. All they wanted to do was go there so that Wade could enjoy a good day with his teammates, but what the evidence will show is when they got there, the park was very crowded. The waiver provided by the park was not explained to Ms. Stark and her son clearly. The waiver was only given to her in 10 seconds or less, and during a game of dodgeball, Wade was hit so hard they ended up dying due to employees egging on other kids to hit him even harder. So due to Wade's death, at the conclusion of this case, we will ask for an award of money so that Mrs. Stark can get the closure that any mother would receive after going through such a huge loss. We appreciate your attention to this case, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Defense opening statement.
Yes, Your Honor. May it please the court. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury and plaintiff, on behalf of myself, Zoe Walker, and the members of the defense, Nathan Collins and Kaden Kuniyoshi, along with the Spring Park's faculty and friends, we are very sorry for your loss. Yet, the evidence will show that the accusations put on Spring Parks by the Stark family concerning the complaint of wrongful death and survivorship are just that, accusations and nothing more. Spring Parks did everything in regards to safety, from every spring to every map. It was all checked professionally. Wade Stark's unfortunate death was not any individual's fault, but rather the decisions of the deceased. Wade Stark's guardian is suing even after signing a legal liability waiver stating that she and Wade understood the risk involved in the policies set. The park's rules were all followed by the book. By the book. Simply, Wade Stark's premature death was not the fault of Spring Parks. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Plaintiff, call your first witness.
I would like to call Corey Stark to the stand.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help me God.
Mrs. Stark, tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury about yourself.
My name is Corey Stark. I am 36 years old. I was born and raised in Meadow Bay, Florida, and I have 2 children.
What are their names?
Wade and Jason.
Was Wade the oldest?
Yes. Wade was 12 years old, and he loved to do things like activities, and he was very competitive.
So explain to me what the day April 20th, 2019 was like. Was it just like any other day?
It was nice. It was actually very beautiful
Ma'am, if
outside.
you'll adjust that mic so that you can talk into that mic.
It was nice outside, and I woke up, got my sons ready to go to a trampoline park to celebrate a soccer championship victory that Wade's junior varsity team had won, I woke them up and I got them ready, and we made our way out to Springs Parks.
So you arrived at Springs Parks on that day, am I correct?
Yes.
Did it seem like they were very crowded at the park that day?
Yes, extremely crowded. There were kids running in and out of every area, and it was possible to step on someone if you didn't look.
Tap that mic for me, ma'am.
What was the process of checking in that day?
It was very hectic, rushed, and overall unorganized.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mrs. Stark, here's what we have marked as Exhibit 3. Does this look familiar to you?
Yes, this is the waiver I was given to sign, and that is my signature.
Did they give you any specific instructions when you were signing that waiver?
No, they just told me to sign it.
Now explain to the jury, how long did you have to sign that waiver and then read it before they took it back?
Not long, maybe even 10 seconds at the most.
So you read all that in 10 seconds?
No.
Did they explain anything to you about the waiver?
No, I was unable to read it before I signed it.
Okay, so they rushed you through the process. Now what did they do after all that?
They gave Wade a red wristband to mark his age, which was 12, and they let him in the park.
Did they give you a map to show you what rooms he could and couldn't go into?
No, I was told there would be a digital copy of a map up on monitors, but when I looked up, they were turned off.
Did you go into the actual park itself with him?
Unfortunately, I was told I could not be with him.
Oh, they wouldn't let you be in the park with them at all?
No, they told me I could not because of the amount of people.
Did you feel confident since you were told about the armbands and the age groups that Wade would be in a good and safe environment?
Yes, I thought that the employees would be watching over the kids and checking their wristbands. We had never had any problems anywhere else.
Alright, so he goes in the park and you go into the reading room. What's the next thing you found out or heard that day? Did you hear about anything happening to Wade?
As soon as the entire park went silent, I knew something was wrong. I saw employees rushing over to the dodgeball zones, and I was worried, and I went over there to make sure it wasn't Wade, because I knew he loved dodgeball. But when I got over there, I was wrong, and I saw him lying there lifeless.
After you saw him lying there, was the park staff doing anything?
There was a doctor named Mills Barton checking his pulse, and he had clarified that he had a weak pulse, and there was an employee calling 911.
Do you remember who made that 911 call?
I believe the name was Jordan Banner.
Did they transfer Wade to a hospital?
Yes, me and Jason rode with Wade in an ambulance.
Mrs. Stark, I appreciate you reliving and sharing that sad story with the jury, but since that time, what has your life been like?
Very hard. Wade was a very energetic, fun-loving kid, and I just miss him.
Wasn't Wade supposed to be graduating middle school last year?
Yes, and he was very excited.
How long did it take for you to put away the cap and gown that you guys had bought for that event?
It took me a while. I think it was just the feeling of him still being there that was like attached to the cap and gown, and it took me a while to put it away because I wanted him to still be there.
Anything else that you would like to tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury specifically about Wade or what's missing in your life now that he's gone?
I just miss my son and how contagious his laugh was, but I don't get to hear it anymore because of the incident.
No further questions.
Cross it down.
Yes, Your Honor. You were at Spring Parks the day of the incident, correct?
Yes.
May I approach the witness?
Yes, sir.
This is Exhibit 3. Do you recognize this?
Yes, this is the waiver I was given to sign.
Were you forced to sign the liability waiver?
No, I was not.
So you could have refused?
Yes.
Did you notice the safety warnings posted around?
Yes, I thought Wade would read them.
May I press the witness?
Sir.
This is Exhibit 2. Do you recognize this?
These are the safety rules from Springs Parks.
Wade failed to follow and notice those safety warnings, correct?
Yes.
Prior to the incident, were you aware of any violations concerning Wade or Springs Park?
Wade had fallen at a soccer game the day before, but
Was he checked by a doctor at that soccer game?
No.
So, do you know 100% that he was okay?
No.
Were you supervising your son?
I was told I could not be in the park with him.
So, what were you doing?
I was waiting with Jason in the waiting area.
Did you ask to watch him?
Yes, I tried to go in the park, but they told me there were too many people.
Were you forced to be away from him?
No.
So, do you think that Wade may have gotten into the wrong trampoline park zone by himself?
No, it could have been peer pressure, or he could have wanted a big challenge because he was very competitive.
But at the end of the day, it was still his decision, correct?
Yes.
So, you signed a waiver and let your child play unsupervised without reading it at all, correct?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right. Any redirect? No.
Yes, Your Honor. Mrs. Stark, Mr. Kuniyoshi even had you acknowledge that you signed the waiver, and you said you only had 10 seconds. So in saying that, I want you to read Exhibit 3 again, and from start to finish, and when you're ready, tell me to go.
Ready.
Okay, go.
Done.
1 minute and 43 seconds. Did you have 1 minute and 43 seconds to read that waiver that day?
No, I did not.
No further questions.
Anything further from the defense? They should be excused. All right, ma'am, you may step down. Thank you. Plaintiff, your next witness.
I'd like to call Kirby Hill to the stand.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I do.
Miss Hill, please tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury about yourself.
My name is Kirby Hill. I'm 14 years old, almost 15. I'm now a freshman at Blue Point High School, and I grew up in Meadow Bay.
Please tell us what Wade was like.
Wade was definitely my closest friend. He was really nice. He could get competitive sometimes, but overall he was a really good friend to have.
How does it feel to wake up and know that your friend passed away and you can never see him again?
It's really painful because we were really close and we did everything together.
What were you doing on April 20th, 2019?
I was at the Springs Park, trampoline park.
And have you been to this Springs Park location before?
I have been there before.
And why did you choose to jump at this location?
I chose it because it was my favorite trampoline park I've ever been to, mostly because the staff let us get away with things that other places didn't.
When entering the park, did you see any digital display signs for the rules?
I did not.
Did you have to sign a waiver before jumping?
I did.
Did you have to line up behind a counter to sign the physical waiver?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes, sir.
Please tell us what you are looking at.
It's the liability waiver that all of us had to sign.
Can you please read aloud the text that's above Ms. Stark's signature?
Parent or legal guardian signature only 18 or older can sign for themselves.
How old were you at the time of signing the waiver?
I was 12 years old.
What did you put down for your age on the waiver?
I put 13.
Objection. Relevance. Kirby is not the one on trial.
Sustain.
So you signed your own waiver even though you weren't of age?
I did.
And did the employee on the other side of the counter do anything to stop you?
No.
So on the day of the incident, did you see anybody breaking the rules?
I did.
Did the employees ever get on to anyone for breaking the rules?
Not from what I saw.
Did you witness employees encourage breaking the rules?
I did.
Were there any watchers overseeing the mat that while you were playing the dodgeball game?
There were not.
And so, did any watchers ever question anybody about their wristbands?
Not from what I saw.
And did the staff seem to be paying attention at all?
The only time that I saw them paying attention was for the entertainment value.
Did you ever see Jordan Boehner while you were playing dodgeball?
Once or twice.
Did he ever seem to pay attention or observe the game?
When he stepped in, it wasn't to make sure that the players of the dodgeball game were safe.
Did he ever egg you on?
He egged most of the players on, yes.
Is there anything else you would like to say about Wade and how he was an impact in your life as a friend?
I really miss him, and I wish that I would have done more to protect him that day.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Cross examine.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you were at Spring Parks at the time of the incident, correct?
I was.
May I approach the witness?
Yes, ma'am.
This is what we have marked as Exhibit 3. This is the liability waiver, correct?
It is.
Now, you did sign the liability waiver, correct?
I did.
Did you see if Wade seemed to be injured prior to coming to Spring Parks?
I did see him fall earlier at the soccer game, but I can't say if he was actually injured or not.
After the incident at Spring Parks, what do you remember Jordan doing?
I remember Jordan walking around, not really doing anything to make sure that the kids were safe.
Was Spring Parks operating similar to how it was operating when you were previously there?
It was crowded that day, but nothing unusual.
Did you know about Wade's concealed wristband?
I knew that he was wearing a long sleeve shirt.
So you knew he wasn't supposed to be where he was in, correct?
I did.
Did you keep pushing for him to stop as your best friend, or did you give in?
I tried to not allow him to go into the part that he was not allowed to go, but he did anyway.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Redirect.
No, Your Honor.
All right. You may step down, ma'am. Thank you. Plaintiff's next witness.
I would like to call Dr. Mills Barton to the stand.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Dr. Barton, tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury about yourself.
My name is Mills Barton. I am 57 years old and I currently live in San Diego, California.
What is your profession?
I work as a chair of emergency at Grace Mercy Hospital in San Diego, California.
Do you have any degrees or qualifications?
I got my bachelor's degree from Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois, and my MD from Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland.
How did you end up being involved in this case?
Well, in late May 2019, the Starks family attorneys contacted me, and I agreed to investigate Wade Starks' death. I believe I was contacted because of the publication I made in February 2019, and it was about the dangers of trampoline parks, etc.
How exactly did Wade die?
Wade died from falling on his neck and broke his C1 and C2 vertebrae.
Was Wade ever injured before the incident of his death?
Well, Wade did have a soccer game earlier before going to the trampoline park, and there was a possible injury reported by witnesses. The injury was where he fell on his neck and shoulder area.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes, ma'am.
This is Exhibit 5 of his autopsy. Is there anything in Wade's autopsy that suggests this injury contributed to his death?
No, everything was more normal. None of his internal organs caused his death, only because of breaking his C1 and C2 vertebrae.
How thick was the padding initially?
The padding is about 1 inch thick. The residential thickness is about ½ an inch, and the upgraded version is 2 inches.
Has the padding on the trampolines been changed at all?
No, it hasn't since Springs Parks opened.
How thick is the padding now?
Well, I can't say how thick it is, but I can say that it does get compressed over time, and it does need to be changed.
Would the padding be more effective in preventing Wade's death if they switched it out?
Yes, it would.
So shouldn't they be held accountable for Wade's death?
Yes, Springs Park is accountable for Wade Starks' death.
No further questions.
Cross.
So Dr. Barton, do you have any previous experience or knowledge of trampoline park injuries?
No, not really, but I can say that I did make a punishment on the dangers of trampoline parks.
So you're saying that you've written an article about how unsafe they are.
Yes, I did.
So it could already be set in your mind that they're extremely unsafe.
Yes, they are extremely dangerous.
You reviewed an autopsy on the victim, correct?
Yes, I did.
May I approach the witness?
Yes, sir.
This is Exhibit 5. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
Would you mind telling the jury what it is?
Well, this is an autopsy report on Wade Starks' death, and how he died, everything of how he fell on his neck.
In your professional opinion, do you believe that prior injuries could have contributed to Wade's death?
No, I do not.
When Wade fell at a soccer game prior, was he ever checked by a medical professional?
No, I cannot say for sure that he was.
So you can't say that he was okay, absolutely.
Yes, I can't. I can't.
Nothing further.
All right, redirect.
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, ma'am. You can step down. Any additional witnesses for the plaintiff?
Plaintiff rests.
All right. Defense, call your first witness.
Your Honor, may we ask for a partial directed verdict on economic damages as there is no evidence of economic damages presented?
Response?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll strike economic damages from the potential verdict. All right,
We would like to move Exhibit 2 and 3 into evidence.
that would be the rules and the waiver. All right, so moved.
I'd like to call Sydney Wilson to the stand, please.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. I do.
Would you mind telling us who you are?
My name is Sydney Wilson, and I'm 55 years old.
What do you do?
I'm the owner of Spring Park's Trampoline Park.
Counsel, drop your mask so you can be heard better. There you go.
Are you part of the IATP?
I am.
Would you mind telling the jury what that is?
It's an association that encourages higher standards of safety among trampoline parks.
Regarding your previous occupations, weren't you an environmental safety officer?
I was.
May I approach the witness?
Yes, sir.
This is Exhibit 1. Do you recognize that?
I do.
Isn't that your writing?
It is.
Could you tell the jury what that is?
It's an injury record from January to June 2019.
In your 14 years of owning the park, have you had any safety concerns?
No.
Why? Why do you think that is?
We do encourage higher standards of safety, and we have better equipment than most other trampoline parks.
Now, are your staff qualified enough to handle an incident like the one that occurred?
They are.
Can you tell us about the training they receive?
They receive extensive training that enables them to be able to handle any dangerous situations that may arise while they're on job.
What about the equipment?
The equipment is all up to date.
How frequently are inspections done?
Every morning before we open.
What were the most recent results?
They all come back conclusive that the equipment is all safe.
As the owner and a member of the IATP, might you say that Spring Parks is in compliance with all necessary safety regulations?
Yes.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Cross.
Your Honor. Mr. Wilson, can you explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what the waivers you and your employees provide to entering customers?
It's a liability waiver that states that all parents are responsible for their own children.
Are you required to let people read that before they sign it?
We are.
Now, Wade Stark was in the wrong area, but when a customer's in the wrong area, are your employees required to move them out?
They are.
How often does your park change the padding on the trampolines?
We have not changed them as of yet.
Now, do you know that changing the padding could prevent deaths and even more injuries?
I do.
You have an employee at your park named Jordan Boehner, am I correct?
You are.
Now, Jordan Boehner worked at Springs Parks for 9 years, correct?
Yes.
If Jordan Boehner had known the rules so well, shouldn't he have witnessed the players and staff disobeying them?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
You say you're part of the IATP, am I correct?
You are.
Look at what we have marked as Exhibit 2, where it does say, follow all instructions of watchers at all time. But if the employees did not give out any instructions but hurtful instructions, like egging on kids to throw the ball harder at Wade, wouldn't that not comply with the IATP high standards, but actually defeat the purpose of why the standards are set so high?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Wilson, it sounds like your employees have not been trained well by your company. Even after that, would you truthfully and factually say otherwise?
I would.
No further questions.
All right. Redirect. No? No redirect?
No reader, Your Honor.
All right, you may step down, sir. Thank you. Defense next witness?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to call Jordan Boehner to the stand, please.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. I do.
What is your position at Springs Park?
I'm the facility manager.
What does the facility manager do?
So the facility manager conducts the daily safety check, make sure all the employees are doing their jobs, and make sure everything is working well.
Did you conduct the daily safety check on the day of the incident?
I did.
What is the safety check?
Safety check is where I check the trampolines, the springs, the pads, and all the equipment in the park.
May I approach the witness?
Yes, ma'am.
This is Exhibit 9. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
Can you please tell the jury what this is?
This is the daily safety check on the day that Wade died.
We'd like to move Exhibit 9 into evidence.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so moved.
What did you conclude from the safety check?
I concluded that everything was working.
On the day of Wade's unfortunate death, what was Spring Parks like prior to the incident?
Spring Parks was pretty much a usual day. We were down 2 staff members, but I put 2 roamers as watchers to cover for them.
During the incident, what exactly were you doing?
I was walking around the park, checking in on the different areas.
During the incident, tell us what you did when you became aware of the injury in the park. Did you call 911?
So once I had heard the whistle, I ran over to the dodgeball area and I saw Wade lying there. So I grabbed his arm and checked his pulse, but that's when I noticed he was wearing the wrong color wristband for the area where he got injured. But I checked his pulse and he had a weak one, but I called 911, the ambulance came and picked him up.
What was the wristband that you did notice on Wade's arm?
I noticed that it was a red wristband.
What does that mean?
That means he should be in the 9 to 12 area, but he was in the 13 and up area.
So Wade was in the wrong dodgeball zone.
That's correct.
In the past, have kids gotten into the wrong rooms?
Yes, they have.
Based on past experience, would you say that younger kids tend to try to go into the older kids' rooms?
Yes, it's more the younger kids into the older kids, yeah.
To your knowledge, did you and all of the staff follow all of the procedures on the day of the incident?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. Cross-exam.
Mr. Banner, how come you were egging on the dodgeball players to play harder?
I wouldn't say egging on. I was just giving them some encouragement, like, yeah, you guys have this and stuff like that. Nothing extreme or anything.
Since it was a friendly competition, why did Wade end up dead?
I would say he ended up dead probably because he got into the wrong dodgeball zone.
Objection. Speculative lack of foundation.
All that's true. But why would you object to your own witness testifying something that helps you? Overruled.
Being a watcher seems to have a lot of responsibilities, right?
Yes, when I was a watcher, I would say yeah.
May I approach the witness?
Yes, ma'am.
This is Exhibit 9, the safety check, which shows you noted nothing in the dodgeball unit where Wade ended up dead. Am I correct?
Yes, that's correct.
You say that the monitors, TV displays, and the iPads went off around noon, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
You say that when those controls are down, you and another employee did the waivers.
Yes.
May I approach the witness?
Yes, ma'am.
This is Exhibit 3, the waiver. Did you hand this to Ms. Stark?
Yes, I did.
Did you ever realize that the initialing was not done all the way on Mrs. Stark's waiver?
No, I did not.
Did you ever rush the customers while they were reading it?
I did a little, but I tried to give them time to read it.
Do you ever remember not letting the customers read the waiver before signing?
I tried to give them some time.
How did you control the chaos of the customers coming to you for the signing of the waiver?
I would pass out the waivers and then I would have another employee collect the waivers once they had read and signed them.
Were you short-staffed that day?
Yes.
What did you do when you saw Wade dead?
I checked his pulse and then called 911.
No further questions.
All right. Redirect? No. Maybe?
No
All right, you may step down. Any additional witnesses from the defense?
I would like to call Bailey Parker to the stand.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Parker, what is your profession?
I am a safety consultant and I own a business which I call Safety Defense.
What education do you have?
I was certified when I worked with Sweetgrass Insurance Company.
Counsel. Counsel. Can you pull your mask down so you can be heard better? Thank you.
Do you have any experience with the IATP or trampoline parks in general?
Yes, I've spoken at 2 IATP meetings.
May I approach the witness?
Yes, sir.
That is Exhibit 2. Do you recognize that as a safety warning?
Yes,
When you examined Springs Park, did they have appropriate safety signage?
they did.
In your professional opinion, do you think that Springs Park had a complete and legal liability waiver?
Yes.
What is your opinion based on?
I read through the waiver and I decided that it was legal.
Is there anything that could make it not complete or legal?
If it wasn't signed, it wouldn't be legal, but it was signed.
Is it true that the liability waiver excludes responsibility for personal harm or loss?
It does.
Now, you carefully formulated your professional opinions, in this case, to be as accurate as possible, correct?
Yes.
After reviewing everything, is there anything that Spring Parks may have done wrong?
No.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Cross?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, drop your mask. There you go.
Mr. Parker, you've worked with Springs Park when you were with the Sweetgrass Insurance Company before the incident on April 20th, correct?
Yes.
And when you worked with them, did you find the facility to be safe?
Yes, I did.
You stated in your affidavit that 2 whole days after the incident, you completed a risk assessment and found this facility to be operating in compliance with safety standards, correct?
Correct.
In your professional opinion, could an influx of customers, say a bus full of kids, on an already busy Saturday affect your safety evaluation?
Potentially.
Could a shortage of employees affect your safety evaluation?
Potentially.
Could unenforced rules affect your evaluation?
Possibly.
Could malfunctions with regularly used equipment affect your evaluation?
Possibly.
And the standards that Springs Park aims to follow are those recommended by the International Association of Trampoline Parks, correct?
Correct.
And the IATP is not a government organization that is required or regulated for trampoline parks to join or be a part of, correct?
Correct.
So the standards that Springs Park is trying to follow are just recommendations from a club. Trampoline parks pay a fee to join if they want to, correct?
Correct.
May I approach the witness?
Yes, sir.
It's right here. Please tell us what you are looking at.
This is the Springs Park liability waiver.
In your affidavit, in your own expert words, you said that Sweetgrass Insurance Company and the IATP would require the waiver to be initialed and signed, correct?
Correct.
Is Wade Stark's waiver initialed?
No.
And please look back at the waiver and read aloud for us the text that is highlighted in yellow.
In the event a lawsuit is filed against SP, I agree to the sole and exclusive venue of Ross County. I further agree that the substantive law of South Carolina shall apply without any regard to any conflict of law rules. Any controversy between the the parties hereto involving any claim arising out of or relating to a breach of this agreement shall be submitted and to be settled by final and binding arbitration in Ross County, South Carolina, in accordance with the then current commercial arbitration rules of the American Arbitration Association.
Just to clarify, the Springs Park location that the incident occurred in is located in Ross County, Florida, correct?
Correct.
And do you think this mistake affects the validity of this document?
Potentially.
Furthermore, do you think that making such a big mistake on an important document of this caliber that's literally asking you to sign away your legal rights makes the competence of Springs Park and its staff seem questionable?
Possibly.
And because the witnesses here who signed the waiver, being Corey Stark and Kirby Hill, didn't mention anything about this in their affidavit, do you think that could mean that they never fully read the waiver or understood it?
Correct.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Redirect?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel?
May I approach witness?
Yes.
This is Exhibit 3, the liability list. Can you please read the underlined text that's at the top? Out loud.
Please read this document carefully. By signing it, you are giving up you and or your minor's legal rights.
This is a legal document, correct?
Correct.
And it was signed, correct?
Hmm?
It was signed, correct?
Correct.
So technically it is a fully filled out document.
Yes.
Can you please read the underlined text at the bottom?
I understand that this agreement extends forever into the future and will have full force and legal effect each time I or my children visit SP, whether at the current SP location or any other SP location.
Can you read the last part of that sentence again?
Whether at the current SP location or any other SP location.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Anything further for this witness? No? All right, sir, you can step down. Defense, any additional witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Defense rest?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Plaintiff's closing argument? You're good.
In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this case is about the tragic death of a 12-year-old boy who died at Springs Trampoline Park on April 20, 2019. The Stark family's life is now shattered because of the responsibilities that the defendant did not take into consideration that day. Sorry. Imagine losing your child and not even telling them goodbye. Imagine the love of your life gone within minutes because of a dodgeball game that could have been controlled. This is why we're here today, to fight back for the death and the loss of the family. April 20th, not only did we lose a human being over a dodgeball game, but people lost a son, a brother, and a grandchild. This was a tragedy to what happened to this little boy. He was so young to even think about death. The cause of it was a severe neck injury due to the C1 and C2 vertebrae, which is shown in Exhibit 5, Wade's autopsy. Wade then died within minutes of falling on the floor after trying to catch the ball. Today, you all have heard from the prosecution witnesses profess their story of the death of Wade, and we all have heard from the defense witnesses profess their side also. These employees were negligent, irresponsible, and careless of how they took care of their customers. This is proven by all the evidence we have shown and we have told. The evidence states in Exhibit 3 that the waiver was not signed correctly. This was because the iPads are down for signing digital waivers. This led to Jordan Boehner and his employees rushing people to sign paper waivers. The whole half of the day, Jordan Boehner does state that the controls are down for safety rules and waivers, and that is when the Stark family comes in the park. Also, not to forget that they were short-staffed and the watchers weren't paying attention to the children, that led to minor injuries with other customers. The customers are the children at a trampoline park, and when Springs Park didn't take their job seriously and careful for those children, that's when it became difficult for the employees. Wade did not deserve to die, and this trampoline park knows it. We are here to ask for an award of money for the Starks family, even $1 a day for every year that the Stark family mourns.
This money won't pay back the mourning or the loss of Wade, but it could pay the medical expenses and many more things. This family lost a child, so we're here to make sure that it won't happen again. Thank you everyone for coming today to hear our testimony for Wade Stark on behalf of his family and friends.
Thank you, ma'am. Closing from the defense.
In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, with all the evidence that has been provided, one can see that Spring Parks was not in the wrong. While what happened on the day of the incident was a severe tragedy, it could not have been prevented by either party. The waiver that was signed showed the risks of the park. It specifically said, by signing this document, I understand that I may be found by a court of law to have forever waived me and my children's right to maintain any action against Springs Park. This statement waives any and all involvement relating to Spring Park. Thus, the accusations that were brought upon Springs Park today are outrageous. Springs Park followed every single safety regulation written according to the IATP, by the book, and Wade Stark's death was not the fault of Springs Park. The supervision of the children was done by the book. The safety signage was all available and correct, by the book. Everything was by the book. I hope that the members of the jury can see that while Wade's death was terrible, Springs Park was not involved. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Members of the jury, I'd like to thank you for your attention during this trial. At this time, we're going to ask you to step back into the jury room to deliberate.